everybody please stand for the pledge? Got somebody to take the meeting minutes? Okay. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call to order at 6:33. Let's see if I can see here today. Okay, Steve, you want to take roll call? What's up here?
Ahern,
Here.
Dunbar, absent. Locke, absent. Mr. Riley. Ken. John Terrace, absent. I'm here. Mr. Mayor. Here.
Me,
I'm sorry.
I'm here.
Barb, you're here too.
I was absent last meeting, that's why you don't have me up there.
Okay, do we have a
Yeah,
motion?
Dunsmore is absent also.
Yeah, I got that, thank you.
So we have a motion to accept the absentees.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Gonna get a second?
I'll support.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, did everybody get a chance to look over the agenda for today?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
All right, gonna get a second?
I'll support that.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, moving on. Go over the meeting minutes from June 6th and June 12th. I know we got it through email. I was able to print mine up, but luckily we have it here. So if there's anything,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from June 6th and June 12th, 2024 as presented.
all right, get a second?
Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, citizens' comments in regards to agenda and non-agenda items. The purpose of this special meeting is to discuss the sign ordinance. As we had it amended back on June 6th. And the way that we motion to have it amended, the new sign ordinance is to read, no sign except those established and maintained by the city, county, state, or federal governments, those owned by the local businesses whose design and construction specifications have been reviewed by the planning commission and approved by the city council shall be located in, project into, or overhang a public right-of-way or dedicated easement. And that was an amendment that we did pass by a voice vote on June 6th. And as in regards to, if you're familiar with it, the doghouse is looking at installing a new sign above. Has everybody been able to see it? Or let's see if I can pull it up. So, give me one moment, please.
Mr. Chair, may I just mention too that although we did take that into consideration our last meeting, the language,
Right.
we have to have a public hearing.
That's why we're here today.
That's why we're here
We have to have a
today.
public hearing before
The
we-
purpose
If
of
there's
this
going to
meeting.
be any amendments or changes to amendments in our code requires a public hearing, so that's what this is for.
Right. This is
To
for the
fulfill
sign
that,
ordinance.
which we mistakenly did not do last time. So just to be clear on that, this is the public hearing regarding it, so that we're in order doing it the way we're supposed to be doing it.
Yes. Right, that's why I gave it in regards to the.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why I read the ordinance on
Okay.
it, so.
That way it gives them their voice. I'm just bringing up the sign. Just takes a moment. Internet is slow. Don't blame me. Blame the city. They pay for it. That's it.
Do we need to open a public hearing? Kurt, this is just the only thing, or yes?
Well, before we do
When we
that,
get there.
before we open the public
Right,
hearing, we need to take comments from these folks if they want to speak.
Okay, everybody, is there anybody that everybody sign in that wishes to speak?
They don't need to sign in this.
Oh, they don't need to sign in?
No,
Okay, I'll learn it.
no, not agenda items, and well, I guess technically, yeah. you're supposed to fill out a form, which I'm sure we probably don't
Yep.
even have here.
No, it's all there.
Is
Just
it?
forms, there's just no
Nope.
agendas or anything. This was only signed
Right.
related for the doghouse.
Right,
Right,
that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are none.
I'm with the sign company, so if anybody has any questions, I'm with the
Can
sign.
you remind your name again, please?
Rebecca.
Rebecca?
Yeah,
We met before, but I just wanted
yeah.
to shorten it.
I just didn't know if you remember me.
Come on, you slow
Couple
thing.
months ago.
What's the
Why
name of
it's
your company,
always-
Rebecca?
Phillips Sign and Lighting.
Phillips Sign and Lighting?
Yes.
So, the only thing regarding the sign ordinance, can I just say?
Sure.
Right, so, since Memphis is as small as it is, you know, the way you've read your ordinances, and you're doing it, the most functional way probably for you to see would be just have the planning commission do is a design review, and then pass that on to the council to approve for permits. As a sign person, again, I don't know how a sign ever got built and sold to a customer without the permit process being done beforehand, but here you are. I can tell you 50% of the time when you're dealing with anything that sticks over into a public right of way, a sidewalk or a city that projects off a building, you do wind up with potential liability issues. Most of the places where we install projecting signs, half of them are outlawed, they don't allow them. The other places that will allow them, say Ann Arbor, is a great example. They will want a type of engineering for the structure so that it attaches to the wall because you're in a public right of way, and that alleviates the city of any potential liability issues if that sign falls and you permitted it. And there wasn't engineering on the structure and the attachment to the building, they can come back to the city through the owner and then work their way to the city on the process. That's something to consider just whenever you're dealing with right of way issues. Just as a sign guy, it's something we see all the time, so.
Okay.
That's really the only caveat I have to that type of flag on outside.
This is the rendition right here. The doghouse wishes to put up. Is that correct? Is this the right one?
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Rebecca, how far is that? Approximately, just out of curiosity, remind me. 18, 24 inches, something like that.
Out from the building, the max is 35 and 5/8.
35.
And 5/8.
That's inches, right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
And what do you got? You got like 2 independent supports holding that? Oh,
yep.
How's that fastened to the superstructure there?
It's 2-inch square tube with plate, and then you would anchor it through the wall.
You putting a steel plate up there?
Two square steel plates, and it goes into the stairwell. So
So you're attaching that to the wood frame, the steel plate to the wood frame, and then the sign gets attached to the steel plate?
through to that.
So it is through bolted with the backside on the stairwell.
Yeah, we'll have engineer drawings.
Thank you.
Be great.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
He's got a great point about if the structure can hold it. He's got a great point.
Well, yeah,
Because when you get these old buildings, they take a brick wall, they build a brick wall, and they're gonna build another brick wall. Then they put a structure behind it. And it's only as strong as the whole entire wall, not just the piece that's holding it. In other words, that 2x2 angle. So
If we
he has a
had
good
to-
point, and then
If we had to add additional support, we could put a cross angle on the inside that would go from point A to point B.
it's close, that's all it is.
Okay, we would do that, yes.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
To be stronger.
go through bolts and attacking the straps, go from one to the other to catch everything. Catch
So you have a very great point.
Yeah, but the engineering drawings will show you exactly the fasteners that we're using, the plate, the thickness of the plate, and then we'll have that sealed by.
So we've never even looked at a set of drawings, I thought.
Well, we have base drawings, but if you wanted them sealed, some cities require them.
Well, I mean, I guess if you were applying for a permit, you would be submitting drawings.
Yeah, we've already submitted all our
Yeah,
drawings.
that's what I'm asking.
They're just not sealed
I'm
by
not clear on the steps of the process or exactly what was checked and what wasn't on the box, so.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have all the structural detail on there as far
Yeah,
as
yeah. And we can give you anything else.
that's.
Awesome. You'll submit those to us. I mean, do we already have it on file here, or?
Yeah, this has all been submitted to you, but if you needed any additional drawings.
I'll go to
then
inspector
you
files.
do.
So you're just waiting then really technically for an approval from the city so you can start for the you file the application, and that's where you're at right now. You just wanted to see the approval from the city so that you can continue. Okay, so, but you already got it in file with the city, just to
We
make
signed-
sure I
we
understand
signed
that.
everything too, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
so you already submitted
They have
structural
the drawings.
engineering?
They have these drawings that tell you how big the
Structural
plates are.
engineering you submitted?
No, there's no engineering
Oh,
drawings.
oh,
I'm
okay.
saying if they
Oh,
want
okay,
those, we
okay.
can get those for you if you require them. Sometimes cities require those.
It's
We
not-
have some,
I don't believe it's required.
yeah, we have certain cities that do require those, not every city requires those.
I still
So
have
that's
mine.
deficient in our code is what you're saying. You didn't say that, I did. So it's all right.
If you have the, I mean,
I'll second that, Steve.
I'm sorry?
I was talking to Steve as a joke, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I mean, since she has the drawings, I'd say we should have a copy on file with the city, regardless if we,
Be with the inspector.
yeah.
I've already, yeah, I've
Yeah,
already submitted
they,
it.
okay, no, I'm talking about the engineering, the building engineer, he has that?
No, I'm
They
saying
didn't
I
do
can
that.
get them for you
Oh.
if you need
Oh,
them.
you can get that.
Our code doesn't require.
Right.
It spells out
Additional
security,
cost
security,
for the
you know.
customer that's
Secured to
not
the building.
Right.
necessary in every case, so we don't
Okay.
have to do them, it's not necessary.
Awesome. Right, any others? Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, so the code doesn't require them, I get it, but that was because the code said that there was no signs allowed protruding into the right of way, correct?
No, actually, you know,
I'm not sure if
it says that county, state, city signs is presupposing that those are going to be erected. And so we just kind of put this under that umbrella. So whatever those regulations are, which I don't know. You know, I didn't look up what the federal law says, what the city, obviously our city doesn't have much there, or county. So if the county, for whatever reason, they would be operating under a set of guidelines. I can't tell you exactly what they are, but it's a knowable quantity. You know, we continue to look at our sign ordinance and refine it in the future.
Right.
I'm saying why we're here today is to change the ordinance to allow the sign to be put up, correct?
Correct.
So what was the ordinance prior? What's the ordinance
I
prior?
can tell you exactly. There's only one line submitted. If you look, there's only like about a page and a half in the whole code book for this. So let me read you what was in there, and I'll tell you what was added to make it clear. So the original line in this ordinance read, "No sign except those established and maintained by the city, county, federal governments." Now, this line was inserted there, comma. So it's adding on to that list of city, county, state, federal, comma, those owned by local businesses whose design and construction specifications have been reviewed by the planning commission and approved by the city council. And then the original sentence continues, shall be located in, project into, or overhang a public right-of-way or dedicated easement. So without that line in there, it is saying that these city, county, state things, in any they can be located with a project involving an overhang right-of-way, so forth. Exactly what that means, I can't tell you, but we're
Right, but I'm
looking at that in
saying,
more detail.
I'm saying the current ordinance says only the city, county, state, and federal government are allowed to do it.
Correct, and we
So-
added that if a city business came before the planning commission, brought some plans,
Mhm.
planning commission will then make a recommendation. That all, you know, it's just a recommendation, and we forward that information after we've done our homework to the city council. The city council will then review it, and they can accept it, they can reject it, or they can modify it.
But what I'm getting at is that would be the reason that it wasn't required to have an engineering drawing. Adding this.
I think we're talking
paragraph in
structural
there.
engineering there,
Right.
is that correct?
Right.
We're talking structural engineering, not actually engineering in broad term of what's it gonna look like, how's it gonna be fast.
Right, make sure the building can hold it.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that would be why I would think that a lot of cities wouldn't allow overhanging signs, because like he said, if that sign, if the building were to fail, and you signed off on it, if we signed off on it as a city, the city could be on the hook for the lawsuits too. So I mean, I would think that adding this new ordinance, that we probably should put in there that we want structural engineering, papers.
Well, Chris, in this cluster bomb that we're dealing with here, notice behind the tavern sign, we have the elective law sign. And also previously, when this was the penalty box, they had an existing sign that hung out further than that sign.
Right.
So we're trying to split the baby here somehow. I'm not the wisest guy, to do it, but
I get that, but I'm just saying, I think it,
it's kind of tough nut to crack.
and it's not trying to push down the doghouse from getting their sign. Well, I said that they can get the engineering, but I think going forward, that is something that should be there.
We are working on
Right.
that.
So I mean, I just think that that should almost be an amendment to the ordinance, that structural engineering sign, or structural engineering.
I'd like to
drawings are
see some
required.
tables as far as sizes in relation to the buildings. There's a number of categories that could be covered there. Rebecca did give us a copy of, Reed City it was. I mean, they could go on and on.
Marine City is kind of where we were looking at, because they have.
I got another
historic
question.
buildings. Go ahead, yes.
Phillips, they've been around forever. I'm not saying that they're a bad sign company. They know how to hang a sign on a building. Okay, so I don't want you to get misinterpreted by what I said structurally. They're a very smart company. And they'll know how to do that. My only question is just like, I guess, how do you figure things out? That's,
Poke a hole.
yeah,
It's kind of, like I
because
said, it's.
her company is very smart.
Oh, I understand, because I deal with the same as the company that I'm with.
Okay.
What's the height? What's the height of the weight for the sign? Yeah.
It's 9'9" and 5'8", and it's diamond LED panel.
It's just ACM, so there's no internal illumination or anything.
There is light fixtures on the top portion, just like some spotlights, square tube. I mean, there's not a lot of weight to
So
it.
you just saddle mount through it, and then
Yeah.
you run two by two steel tubing, probably into a half inch or 3/8
Yeah,
plate.
exactly, yeah.
The sandwiches. I mean,
I didn't realize you were a sign company.
yeah, the wind shear on that's not that bad. So I mean, when I say mechanical engineering, the engineering structural is
I'm
just
sorry?
because
The wind blows down the street.
Yeah. And I would say it could be at the discretion of the.
You guys open this public hearing already?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Did you open the public hearing already?
No.
No,
But you're talking about the sign ordinance right now, right?
I apologize.
Well, I don't know, they're talking about engineering the sign now,
That's why I'm confused.
I think we're getting way off base here, so there
Actually, we're in the public comment period.
Yeah.
Drifted off from there, went off the rails there.
Yeah. So,
That's what the public hearing was, is in regards to the.
right. So it's, getting into engineering and, I couldn't tell you exactly how it's spelled out in our ordinance because I don't have it in front of me, but it does, making sure that it's, properly secured to the building, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So what we're changing here is to allow a local business to erect a sign.
To erect a sign and have it reviewed by the the design, reviewed by the planning commission and then submitted to city council for approval.
Right.
Correct.
So out of curiosity now, the sign's approved.
No, not yet.
No. No, what we're doing is we're changing the language in our ordinance to allow that sign to go
Right,
up.
to allow the
Suggested.
sign.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, we're suggesting the change of the ordinance to allow the sign to be made, and then we'll submit it to city council,
Okay.
and then they will approve or deny the
I vote for
buildings.
yes. What?
I mean, I see what you guys are doing. I get it. I mean, I don't have the issue, but I think it's.
Right, as I said,
I think it's perfect for what you're doing down there. My only caveat was, just because of projection right away, as a city.
Well, from my understanding, it's
Just
bigger than
remember
through
what
the
you
thing,
do.
the front of the building's gonna fall off, and you're gonna have to worry about a lot more than the sign.
I've had signs come down in more situations than that. So I'm just saying, that's just something to consider. That's it. I'm not objecting. I'm not criticizing. I'm not trying to.
Appreciate the input.
Mad. I'm just
No,
saying,
it's,
Appreciate it very much.
it's information that's taken into account.
I'm not mad, I'm just wondering what's going on, I have my headphones on, and all of a sudden there's just a big conversation.
Eric just sits back there kind of, he's our video, our videographer.
No, I had a phone call, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my phone rang, I just couldn't hear you.
Let's move it
No, I'm
on.
sorry, obviously I made you upset.
Okay, is there, do we have any other citizens' comments before it
I'm worried
closes?
about your concerns.
Anyone else?
We
have
never even
anything?
opened. Oh, it's just a comment, I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay, sure,
let's go outside.
all right.
I don't know if that was on.
I have no idea.
Neither do
All
I.
right, let's carry on,
Can we
please,
move
maybe,
on?
Mr. Chairman, bring some semblance of order, call the question.
All right, so we want to open up for,
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
okay.
We have no communications? Communications was on the agenda.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, new business. All right, let's open up the public meeting. I'll second the opening. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, let's go ahead. Now we can chit chat a little bit more here.
To your heart's content.
To your heart's content, yeah.
No, now this is, I guess, yeah, the public hearing's open, which has been, it should have been open a while back,
Was
but
I only staying for?
Oh, this one, okay, so this is just, I understand here, this is not.
Was I?
Oh, Rebecca,
David,
we're gonna, you know, we're gonna have a discussion and make a recommendation to the city council.
Yes.
This is, I'm not gonna speak before we do it, but, you know, it looks promising, I hope, to just address the issue that we have right now. I understand that you've done everything you.
we kind of went out of order here. We should have opened up the public hearing and then we should have just completely skipped the non-agenda
You think so?
comments. Yeah, when you have a public hearing, we should have just skipped that part and then we could have carried all this
Okay.
out.
I've only been doing this for a little short time period.
We could have been carrying
He's
this.
just worried about safety, and that's all that matters, and I'm glad that you opened the eyes. So maybe
That's
we're
it, that was the only thing.
Yeah.
You stayed on topic, we just didn't get
Right. So now that the,
Okay, now the floor is open, so
That
we'll,
was very educational.
Okay.
and it says regarding recommendations to update the sign ordinance. And that's where we read out the, if you want, I can reread it again, if you like. But I think Steve went over it pretty well. This is what, I mean, the amendment that we made is what we are recommending to city council, to amend the ordinance at this time, to allow the sign to be installed, more or less. We're gonna look further into the sign ordinance and we'll probably come back to another public hearing once we have more information on there. And so I wanna research a couple more cities in regards to it. Yes, sir.
well, then why are we worried about making a recommendation if we're gonna let them move forward, if you think you're gonna change the ordinance furthermore?
Because then Tam's not gonna get her sign moved along.
Am I right? Am I
She
wrong?
goes to public hearing, that said, let her have her sign. But Phillips and Third bonded and everything installed it. Just make sure the work's done properly and good to go.
Obviously, we need to do, and Tom has brought that up, that as a planning commissioner, your chair, he's going to see where we need to work. Let's face it, a lot of our ordinances are 50, 60 years old,
Right.
but I hate
More than that.
to slow the expense of erecting this sign, which I think everybody agrees looks pretty decent, it's nice. We're putting it under the umbrella, whatever that is, that we allow county and federal and city governments to do. Now, in the meanwhile, I don't really worry about that one causing liability, although it's always a possibility, but in the meanwhile, we're gonna construct something that's a little bit more understandable, a few boxes to check, people coming in the future, and we need to do it. We know we've had the sign issue going on in other areas too. So we've never really even finished addressing some of those other areas, even though that we have gotten research from the county on it. So I trust Tom that he's going to rock and roll and go ahead and get this sign ordinance further developed. But that's my take on that, just, you know.
I
of course,
think evolving is
just
a good
one
thing.
vote.
I'm sorry?
I think you wanting to evolve and move forward, and you didn't know until today, and you learned about this today, that maybe we are lacking something, and you wanting to look into it, I think that's great. I think that's called evolution. And as Memphis, everybody wants to evolve, so let's evolve.
If someone's, are you saying someone's going to rewrite that portion still?
No, not
Someone's
that.
working on it, okay. I just
But
didn't know if you needed-
as you know from the other codes you deal with, we don't have a lot of specificity. And, you know, we got flags popping up everywhere, we got giant billboards on the other end of town coming up. You know, we're dealing with state right-of-ways, a bunch of stuff. And we need to be proactive and clarify what is the tenor, what is the atmosphere we want to see in Memphis as far as signage goes. So Mr. Fields can attest, every community is different. You know, some people allow 8-foot letters, some people allow 20-foot letters. It goes on and on. You know, we got lighting, all those issues. So we're just a part-time body here and basically volunteering. If we had professionals on staff to deal with this, I'm sure we get it done a lot quicker. But we're, as you said, trying to move it and evolve.
But doesn't the sign look good?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it.
There's no quarrels on the sign, everybody.
No quarrels on the sign.
No quarrels on the sign at
It
all.
make me want to pull in there and get a shot of beer.
There you go. So, you know, that shows people that we're trying to change as a community.
High
as a-
profile, little downtown we have.
But stuff like that's not gonna hurt, that's not gaudy, that's not.
No, not at all.
It just.
Kinda
shows that
rates
we're a
right there
small
with the
town.
lawyers.
And selective sign, I think, is quite tasteful too.
Stop in here and have a shot in the beer. You know what?
That's what we're trying to do.
We'll adjourn there.
Well, that's why I say it's a great idea, you guys. I don't understand why it's a debate.
Technicalities.
So the technicalities, right?
Gotta follow the rules.
I was just saying, when I was saying it, is if you're amending the sign ordinance, now bringing up about having an engineer seal, have somebody sign off that says that sign's not gonna fall off. And if it does, they're the ones responsible for it. That's all I'm saying, because he brings up a good
I
point
believe,
on that.
I believe a copy you said was with the building engineer, or we can send a copy to the building engineer.
Well, also, we have a building inspector, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Why don't we just hold a permit? He inspects it, says it's good, and.
That's what
problem
we're-
solved.
That's the plan.
That's what the plan is.
Do like a sidewalk inspection, well, not a lot, there's probably like time where you go to the city and sidewalk inspection. Well, not here,
They
no,
don't
but,
go out there.
No, we're like I said, we're a small, you know, we're a small little town, 1 square mile by 1 square mile. You know, well, like I said, we're all part-time here. Actually, not even part-time, just some of the time.
Just volunteers.
Yeah, basically. You know, I get a candy bar for Christmas kind of thing. All right, moving on. Any other comments? Anything else?
I have one more.
One more.
You guys are doing great.
Thank you.
Hey,
For all that.
We don't hear that often.
I'm
No.
just saying, you only have a certain amount to mold, and if you don't get opinions, then how do you mold?
Gotta get them out there. Can't be afraid of speech.
So, I mean, it's,
That's why we need community involvement. That's what it
that's
is.
why we all wanna talk.
That's what
Eric,
we want.
that's why we all wanna talk and pay attention.
I'm sorry?
No.
No.
We need it.
All right,
Okay, anything else?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay.
Support.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Thank you very much for your time and your comments and your information.
I
Yes.
just have a question, so what is our next step, Tammy and I? We have to wait for
Oh,
another.
well, we have to make our recommendation, and I guess that would.
Right. We have to make a recommendation to city council.
City council gets a recommendation, they'll take a vote on it. And then if it passes, then we'll move forward.
I have one question now.
Sure.
Why can't it just be done now?
The public hearings are
Waste
closed
so
now,
much
by the
time.
way.
Yeah, the public
Because it
hearing's
doesn't meet
closed, but we
code right
have,
now.
right.
It does not meet
It
our
does not meet
ordinance right
code,
now.
so we have to,
Go through all the.
I'm just
you have to
asking.
go through the channel.
Change the language to make it legal.
I'm just
Correct.
asking.
Yes. It's like asking your parents, so we're the kids, we're referring it to the council for
That's what
approval.
I don't ask, I just do.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I said there's another public hearing this Wednesday, same time, same
We
place.
took a vote on to close the public hearing, right?
Yes, we closed the public hearing.
Steve, you want to make the motion?
Well, I just got a short piece of discussion here before we make that motion, which I would make exactly as was written, but I don't think it's a bad idea that we send that recommendation to council conditional, even if it has been signed off on, that the engineering is sufficient to negate any catastrophic failure. So that we have that.
If you want to
Steve.
add that.
That's just me, I'm just one voter.
You want to make a motion on that? To add that?
Sure. I would make a motion that city council approve the language we send them, but it would be conditional on receiving conditional on the engineering being sufficient to negate any catastrophic failure. Somebody can wordsmith that if they want, but that seemed to be a concern out here
You're
tonight.
gonna have what we're gonna send to city council.
That's exactly what I said, conditional on engineering being sufficient
So
to
where,
negate any catastrophic
so
failure.
what about the whole verbiage here?
And the
Well,
thing
that's-
is,
that's
where does
just
it
a
fit into the ordinance?
It doesn't
Because
fit into
the ordinance.
It does not fit into the
In our
ordinance.
ordinance for the signs, it describes about anchoring and supports, and I don't have it in front of me.
We don't have that, but we just got done talking about, we don't have any strict engineering drawings or engineering requirements as far as stress and structural integrity. That's what I took from that discussion. Maybe I'm mistaken. It doesn't seem to be a big deal. I'm sure you guys would sign off on it, right?
Most cities will just ask what's getting secured to the building, what are the fasteners, and that's all. There's probably 4 or 5 cities that require engineer drawings, like what we're talking
Well,
about.
I'm not even asking for engineer drawing. Would your company feel comfortable signing something, saying that that you would sign off saying the engineering is sufficient to hold the building?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That way I got something that if that thing does fall off
yeah.
on my head while I'm going into the doghouse and prevents me from drinking the rest of my life, that I have some recourse, but I won't have it on the city of Memphis.
Yeah.
That's who I'm representing here.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk to our general manager and see what we're all comfortable
It'd
with.
be pretty simple, and if we don't have to get real
I mean,
detailed, I
worst
just
case
wanna.
scenario, then we get engineer drawings and it makes everybody.
I'm not even talking about drawings, Rebecca. I'm just simply saying that you're assuring the city that this is tight, it's gonna stay up there. It's not gonna catastrophically fail. Like I said, I don't know how else to put it. It's maybe a little overkill, but, nobody writes language in the law that anybody understands anyway, so I might as well join the crowd.
How would you do it? How would you do it?
Hey, guys, the public hearing's closed, okay? I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
we need to get back to what we're gonna do.
Go ahead, Steve.
All right, so I make a motion that we would approve the language to change the ordinance to city council, but it's conditional on the engineering being sufficient, that the Phillips Sign Company is correct name.
Well, I don't
Well,
want
we
to
can't
say
include
we're
their name on
signing.
our ordinance.
Yes.
No,
That's
Okay,
not
why-
part of the ordinance.
so-
I'm telling.
What we're here for is to amend our ordinance, not to put other conditions out for this particular project, are we?
how
Isn't this
about,
meeting about amending the ordinance?
This is what I would recommend to council. I wouldn't just recommend it like it is, which I agree with, but I would make it conditional on getting assurance that they feel confident that sign is gonna fall off the wall.
So-
We can vote on
And
it.
in
I'm
my
just saying-
opinion,
I'm just
that
saying.
is the engineer drawings. That's the engineer drawings. We're not going to, someone needs to structurally approve that. That is the engineer drawings, is what you're asking for.
So then you're telling me you don't feel confident now?
No, I understand where she's coming from. That she has engineering drawings that she can submit to the city for our building inspector, to review.
You know what? I'll withdraw. I will withdraw my condition. There.
And this is something we can look at, get back into our sign ordinance and look and see, what, needs to be added, changed.
Let's hope so.
Okay.
See what I'm,
withdrawing that,
Don?
Yes? I'm sorry.
if you're withdrawing that,
Yes, I'm withdrawing,
then
I'm withdrawing.
then I'm gonna make a motion that we send to city council
The verbiage as written.
the verbiage contained in our, the change to city, says section 150.006B as written in our documents here. I move that we send this to city council and approve it.
Okay, I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Okay.
moving on. That's all done. Unfinished business, don't have any right now, this is strictly a special hearing. Moving on, any comments from the commissioners?
None from me.
Mr. Riley?
No, sir.
Ms. Mazer?
Nothing here.
Mr. Weaver?
I think I've said enough today.
Okay, I'm good there. All right, well then, can we get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
All right. We have a second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Meeting closed at 7:10.
All right, I'll type up that, the minutes
Okay.
you didn't do